Now, as people begin recovering from the damage to their homes and property because of Fiona, they're going to have to start dealing with their insurance companies. So for that part of the story, we are now joined by Amanda Dean. She is Vice President of Insurance Bureau of Canada's Atlantic region, and she's joining us from Halifax. Amanda, thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you, Natasha, for having me on.
Well, Amanda, before we get into the technicality of insurance in a situation like this, you're in Halifax. How did you weather that storm?
I am very lucky when you consider the damage that has been incurred by many people throughout this region. Power is still not on, but I'm certainly counting myself among those that are very lucky following Fiona's wrath through our region.
Okay, let's talk then about the people who haven't been as lucky. Folks on Cape Breton, people in Port aux Basques, in Newfoundland. I mean, we are seeing homes floating in the water. This is unbelievable. Where do some of the people who've got more minor damage to their homes, let's say in relation to that, trees falling onto their property or windows that have broken, what do they have to do?
If there's any damage to your property whatsoever, call your insurance representative as soon as you possibly can. If your insurance representative's office is not yet able to be opened, because we understand that some brokers and agent offices may be damaged as well or may not yet have power. Most insurers in Canada, so the insurance company on your policy has a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week claims line. By all means, give them a call and start the process to file your claim. Once that happens, document as much as you possibly can with the damage, whether it is damage to the exterior of your home with a tree falling on your home, branch coming through the window, or something more severe. Give your insurance company a call, document with photos and a list as best you possibly can to get that process started right away.
Okay. Now, Amanda, let's dive into some of the more severe damage. I don't know if you can see the images we were just showing, but homes you basically cannot live in anymore. And oftentimes with insurance, you need to provide documentation. Well, if you don't have the documents anymore, you don't even have your camera or your phone to take the photographs anymore, what are these people supposed to do?
Reach out to your insurance company right away. So if you don't have a phone, if you have nothing with you, reach out to your insurer right away. If you do not have the ability to find that phone number, we are tweeting and sending out information with respect to our consumer information line. That number is 1-844-227-5422. We will help connect you with your insurance company. So if your home is destroyed, so for example, you were just talking about a roof that had completely blown away and was in a neighbor's backyard, call your insurance representative right away. And that's important because a typical home insurance policy does include additional living expenses. We all know that the Red Cross and some of the municipal warming centers that are being set up to shelter individuals, they have limited resources. If you have additional living expenses on your home insurance policy, home tenant condominium insurance policy, keep your receipts. You will have coverage. But again, call your insurance representative, get that claim opened, find out what your limits are. Also, getting that claim opened right away will allow insurers to know how many claims they have in one particular area, and that will allow them to know how many adjusters they need to deploy to a certain area. Adjusters right across the country are prepared and waiting to enter into Atlantic Canada in order to help the recovery process get underway as soon as possible. We don't yet know what the claims volumes look like in any one given province, but that's not abnormal. In an event like this, within the first 24 hours, people are concerned about how they're going to care for themselves as well as their families and doing what they can to protect their home from further damage. As soon as you are safe and in a good spot, call your insurance representative.
Amanda, let me ask you, do you have a sense at this point? I know that initially, as you said, the main thing is going to be just being safe and getting an assessment of the home, but are you all seeing calls coming in already on what's as it relates to Fiona?
We certainly are starting to see calls come in again as people are getting resettled, perhaps in areas when if their home is not able to be lived in. We've heard of apartment buildings, entire apartment buildings being evacuated due to the damage sustained to the roofs and other components within that apartment building. So there's lots of situations where people are removed from their homes at this point in time. Again, keep those receipts, your additional living expenses. That portion of your policy will absolutely kick in. We are hearing of trees having blown through roofs. We are hearing of trees having gone through windows, and of course, rain then falling very quickly, water damage resulting. We are hearing of sewer backups, so dirty water in basements. Those who have sewer backup coverage will be covered in those situations. We are also hearing of clean water entering homes. So that would fall under the overland flood insurance coverage portion of your policy. So again, incredibly important, given the various components of your policy. Also food spoilage. The longer the power stays off, the more likely there will be more and more food spoiled. Try to estimate did you have a block freezer full of meat? Did you have a refrigerator full of food that is now spoiled? Just try to estimate how much food you're losing, because again, that will also help with your claim.
Amanda, let me ask you something, if I could, about hurricane and tropical storms, because I'm on the website for Insurance Bureau of Canada, and something that jumped out at me as it relates to storm surge is that home insurance policy generally do not cover damage caused by storm surge, even if you purchased overland flood coverage. That doesn't sound good to hundreds of people who might be affected because of storm surge.
Absolutely. Overland flood coverage is a relatively new product in Canada. It's only been available since 2015, and that is for clean water, fresh water. Anything that involves salt water entering the home is not something that is covered. It is not a peril that insurers have been able to cost at this point. So no, typical home insurance, condo insurance, tenant insurance policies do not cover coastal flooding and storm surge. Though, judging by those images, certainly our hearts and minds are with those who are impacted. We have reached out to the provincial EMOs. We are working with them and will be at their beck and call. If, and it sounds as though we are getting to that point, disaster financial assistance arrangement programs are launched within the various provinces. Those programs are designed for those losses where you could not have purchased insurance. So we're going to be working very closely with the EMOs throughout the region in the coming days.
Okay. Amanda Dean with the Insurance Bureau of Canada, thank you so much for your time today.
Not at all. Thank you so much for having me on.